Hello, John Longcroft-Neal here again. Ready to go? Right, let's go. Now then, this is vlog 13. It's going to be in two parts actually. Well, 13 and 14, but the subject's in two parts. Somebody commented very kindly, a regular commentator, Sisyphus. I don't know if that's male, female, strange name. There you go, Sisyphus. I think they live in the USA because they referred to visiting the country and what was Nuneaton like, the town that I live in. Well, there's quite a bit to say really if I'm not careful, so I'm going to put this in two parts for sure. I'll just give you a broader sense at the minute and mention some of the famous people from the town. Nuneaton is a town of 86,000 people on the north part of Warwickshire County. In fact, it's one of the biggest towns in the county. And it's a lovely countryside around. You can go to the north to Leicestershire, which I've spoken about before now, and south of here, the Cotswolds is a lovely place to go to. I used to go there as a kid. I was born in Coventry, which is only about 12 miles away, and we used to cycle down to the Cotswolds often. And yeah, it was great. It's not a town of any particular industry, but we do have the Triumph motorcycle factory about 6 miles away near Hinckley. To the right of us over here as well is the, well, it's north I mean, is the MIRA, which is the Motor Industry Research Establishment. It's a big old airfield area space that they've now turned into a test track and all the rest of it. I have a friend who works there and he smashes cars up and sees all that sort of stuff. And then we've got a lot of, in this area, because we're right in the middle of England. In fact, you could say Nuneaton is the centre of the universe. After all, the universe apparently is infinite, so the centre is anywhere. And this is good enough. Anyway, we've got logistic firms, that is transport. So they go from here all over the place to supply stores and whatever in big lorries. And they will often go along the A5, which is about a mile away, and that is an old Roman road. There's another Roman road, the Fosse Way, which runs north-south, which cuts down through Warwickshire down towards Stratford. Now, of course, Stratford. We've got Stratford in our county where William Shakespeare was born. Let me just tell you about some of the famous people from Nuneaton. It's a bit of a mixed bag, really, but there's about half a dozen and they're quite famous. First of all, of course, you've got George Eliot, who was a female 19th century novelist, and she wrote a number of books, quite incisive, and her name is used and the places that she named are used around town. So there's George Eliot Hospital, George Eliot Pub, George Eliot School and so on. And then the places, I used to work at Milby School, and Milby was the name that she used for Nuneaton. So her footprint, if you like, is all over the town. Right, Ken Loach is a filmmaker. He's still alive. He's now in his 80s and still making films. He recently, with I, Daniel Blake, was a film that won an award in the Film Awards. And these films are always very socialist, very left-wing, about the desperate issues facing poor people. In the past, he was very famous for Kess, which is a film about a boy who had a kestrel living up north, and Cathy Come Home, which was a desperate TV, black and white drama about a woman with children. Her children were taken off her because she was desperate and had nowhere to go. It was a very telling thing, and that's what was happening. He was highlighting this sort of thing. In fact, I had an allotment, gardening allotment nearby, and one of the older gentlemen there used to go to school with Ken Loach. At the end of the Scourie, Larry Grayson. If you're abroad, you don't know who Larry Grayson is. Larry Grayson was a comedian. He didn't become well known until later in life, in his 40s, but he came on eventually to present a game show on Saturday night on the TV, and he was very famous for that. I'm going to run over 5 minutes because I've got one more to do. That's Mary Whitehouse. Now, Mary Whitehouse was a campaigner to clean up TV and films from pornography and other seedy elements. And she was much ridiculed in many quarters. And this is in the 70s and 80s. They made a film about her and they did a documentary as well. And the documentary was interesting because she's obviously rather prim. She was a school teacher, funnily enough. She was an art teacher in a girls' school. And her heart was definitely in the right place. But yeah, she tried very hard. She came back to Nuneaton in this programme and she outlined the house that she lived in. And upstairs in this house, it was a corner shop. And upstairs was where she was born. The corner shop was a newspaper shop, which now still sold pornography and hard liquor. So yeah, ironic that that was where it was. And she pointed this out as well. Anyway, I'm going to go on to part 2 next time. Okay, see you then. By the way, do you believe in black holes? I think I do.